at the team level and even at the company level, you have a view, a searchable view of everyone's networks, um, hierarchized by relationship strength. And now when you go and ask for an introduction, you can, look at that relationship strength to get a sense of, okay, do those people really know each other? How well do they know each other? And it gives you a lot more confidence in asking for introductions instead of shooting in the dark and trying to go through a LinkedIn mutual connection, which we know doesn't work really well, and oftentimes doesn't feel really good for anyone. It's like, oh, I don't know that person. The person receiving the invite feels like they maybe should know that person because they're connected. You feel like you wasted their time. So to reduce that, really that relationship strength score is a key of the puzzle here. I ran a marketing agency prior to building the Swarm, and I used to export my LinkedIn connections and do the same with some of my team members to try to collate like our connections and try to find introductions. And I know a few other founders who have done that, um, or hacking your way through LinkedIn to ask for introductions, but that was never sticky because of the first degree connections on LinkedIn being like a little loose now. And as we built the Swarm, as we were starting to work on the Swarm 2 years ago, talking to literally like hundreds of founders, like, yeah, some of them have more sophisticated solutions like, Airtable and so on, but the data ends up being stale. And what we saw, like when we were talking to all those founders, is that there is a need for a team level or company level unified network. This like growth at all cost era that we just exited. It's this assembly line, basically, of siloed functions between the marketing that's responsible for the top of the funnel, and then like SDR qualifying leads, AEs taking them to close, and then customer success coming in. And what we're seeing now is that those silos and the systems are, first of all, they're misaligned to incentivize like every participant to the bigger business growth, really. And now we're seeing like the opposite, like full cycle AEs like coming in like that have to sort of like find their own leads and take them all the way to the finish line, and essentially like become micro influencers in their own like sphere and tap into their own network. Over the last few years, there's been a series of new tools and companies coming out with intent signals and deep intent signals even. Um, so I think this is great, like for as you build your target account list and try to really segment your market like into like who's ready to buy your product, who's likely to have a need. I think relationships is a new signal, or at least like the ability to map relationships and to know who knows who and know how well they know each other is a very strong signal that should be placed towards the top. It doesn't matter if you have the perfect ideal customer if you can never get a hold of them. And that's where like your network really comes to play to help you like make the first contact, whether it's from an endorsement or a formal introduction. When we talk to founders of those successful companies about how they started when they were in our shoes, they actually say that they really leaned on their relationships. Their first 100 customers, they were like all from their relationships, and they kind of come in like in groups because of that, and they're staying around because of that. They're helping and giving feedback because of that, and of course, then you layer like more, campaigns and emails and so on. But that's not the place to start. What I like about networks is they grow as you grow as a company, as you go through different like funding rounds. You have more investors that can be added to your network, and essentially their networks now becomes virtually available to you. Same with your team. Your team grows. Every single new team member brings their network with them, and especially as startups, like everyone is invested in the growth of the company. Relationships are one like key differentiators, like something that cannot be copied, cannot be stolen. It's the new moat in a sense because your relationships are yours, but your team's relationships, your advisors and investors relationships, like are your ultimate differentiators when asking for an introduction, like and it's because of the trust of the relationship that exists that's been sedimented over years and many interactions, and you can't copy that. Marketing and sales engines have been built around the CRM, which is like the single source of truth for customer relationships. It's also, of course, a place where you record your interactions for sales, your leads coming in, and so on. But it's really what it is, a system of record, right? It's like sort of reactive in a way. It doesn't have all of the relationships outside of the CRM. And that's what Go to Network is all about. That's all of the potential proactive outreach that you can do to your network that are not recorded on your CRM. Some of them are on LinkedIn, some of them are in your phones, some of them are in your emails. In a way, the CRM is like the system of record of the past up to today, and Go to Network is a system where you can look into the future. Your next customers, hires, maybe investors even, are literally like sitting one connection away. If you try to ask introductions on LinkedIn through a mutual connection, 8, 9 times out of 10, the answer is I don't know that person. An audience is not a network. LinkedIn is great to make new connections and to build an audience of people that will follow your content and to follow each other's content to learn and grow. It's not the right tool for the job of like mining your company network. I think Go to Network also really fits in this new concept of all bound. So there is inbound, outbound, nearbound, and now there is this all bound concept. Like, so you would get an inbound lead, but you would then reach out to more people at the company, to the buying committee, and so on. And so being able to identify in a target account who you know at different levels in the companies or in different departments is key to be able to run those new old bound plays. And it also shows like how the old like inbound versus outbound, like, you know, silos and ways of thinking is now broken.